Welcome back to the Circuit Revival, where today we're going to try something quite exciting. So I've got here the board from the Nintendo Switch from the first video I ever did, which I'll put the link up in the corner there so you can see that if you're interested, where I kind of got to a point where I presumed it was one or two problems, either the big main chip here or this tiny little chip here, which I'm guessing is maybe the power management IC for the board. I don't really know, but because I've kind of got it, I figured I should probably start trying to do some more technical things. So I think we're going to try and replace the big chip, which is a BGA chip, which basically means that there's lots and lots and lots of little balls underneath it. Now, I bought some replacement chips and they've come pre-balled, so I'll probably not try reballing anything yet. I'll just try and get the chip on the board. So we can see sort of why I got to that with the new camera I've got. In the old one I had my old thermal cam, but now I've got a slightly newer one, which if we get this in shot, hopefully we can see that. You can see there's the power management IC, and then just in the top left, a very kind of localized heat spot. Now it's not very hot, but something tells me that's probably not right. And even if it is, then it's probably good practice to try and swap this out anyway. So we'll get this sort of off the board and then we'll try replace it. It'll either go well or it won't. Either way, it'll be good practice, and considering this board isn't doing anything currently, it's probably the best thing I've got to test this on. So I'll just start by disconnecting the battery, and I'll put that back off to the side here. And now we just need to try and work out how best to get this off. So it's quite a thin board, so I don't imagine it's going to need a lot of heat or anything, but I need to be aware that there's a lot of plastic on this board. So we'll probably get it in the Omnivice here. That'll hold it still. And then I'll get some Captain tape, and I'm probably just going to Captain tape basically around the whole thing, because there are all these plastic connectors just on the bottom here. Try and protect those a bit. If they do break, it's not the end of the world. The board is sort of useless anyway, but if we can get it so it works, it'll be a sort of better test of whether the repair was a success or not. I'm just trying to wrap this round a bit, just try and get sort of a lot of protection on there. Okay, here we are, just under scope. You can kind of see the chip a bit better. So a few things to point out is the dot on the top little right here matches up with this little arrow here, which shows which way the orientation of the chip should be. We have here the replacement chip, and you can kind of see it's already got balls on it. So I'm guessing these are just pulled off of existing boards, and I think that should be the same. Yeah, there we go. So if we line that up, there we go. That's identical. The writing's probably a bit easier to read on this one. So you can see the chip is a CYW20734, which you can sort of just make out on that other board. Whether this is a different manufacturer or something, I don't know. But either way, we'll try give this a go. So I don't know kind of what the best temperature for this is, because I say it is quite thin board, and there's, you can kind of see there's so many tiny little components around, so I think I just have to come in on this side to get it up off the board, which is a bit awkward because I'm not the best with my left hand with the hot air. But either way, we'll start maybe slightly lower at 380 at the temperature. So we'll start just by adding some flux to the board. So my airflow is just at 50 at the moment. That might be a bit too high. We'll bring the airflow down a bit. So we'll come back in, we'll add some heat to the board. We're just going to keep rotating the heat because we don't want to keep static. And then hopefully we might start to see maybe some of the other components solder start to wet, and we know we might be able to come in and get it off. Don't know if I'll be able to get this with my left hand. Let's just see how this goes. Okay, there might be space to do it. So I need to be careful with this. I don't want to pull it too quickly because I don't want to tear any of the pads off the board. So basically just need to wait until it's ready. I might increase my airflow just a bit. Okay, some of the components around it are starting to get wet. Okay, I think that was fairly clean. I don't think I knocked anything. Get the wand down. And then whilst the board is still hot, we'll try and get up some of this solder. So now I just need to try and clean up those pads. So I've got my soldering iron set, and I'm just going to use some solder wick to try and lift this up. So the board should still be hot. We'll come in with this, and then we just need to watch out, make sure we don't hit anything. Okay, I think my temperature might be a little bit too low because that's now just stuck. We don't want that stuck. So I'll just try and get this lifted. Hopefully I didn't break anything in the process. Okay. So I'm going to start maybe just by trying to absorb some of the solder onto my iron. So by just running my iron onto it, it's just attaching to my iron rather than the board. So what I might do then is just add a bit of leaded solder to this, just try and lower the melting point. Should hopefully make it a bit easier for me to then wick up. And we just come in and mix in this leaded solder with what's on the board. Just being careful not to knock any components as I go. It's going to make it a lot easier to lift off our wick. There we go. Okay, that is much easier. So I'm sort of just letting it run along the board. I'm not really doing much. It's just gliding. Not adding too much pressure. Okay, they're getting close. We'll try and rotate this, make it a bit easier to get to the other bits. And then hopefully make it a bit clearer under the light as well. So the upside to this, I'm using my Omnivice as the... Oh no, it's got stuck again. Just try and heat this up. Just try and make sure we don't break anything off. Okay, don't think that's damaged anything. So I'm using my Omnivice sort of as a rest as well. Okay, I don't think that's all of it, but I don't think that's too bad. Don't think we've knocked anything. Maybe... No, I think that's just part there of the solder wick attached to it, so I think we definitely try and get that off. All this solder off. It's not perfect, but my first attempt, I think that's the best I'm going to do. So what we'll try and do is see if we can get this back on. So we'll rotate it back the way it was, and then we'll try and line this chip up how it is on the board. I'm hoping should sort of be able to feel the balls land sort of in place. So what we'll do to begin with is we'll just try and clean this up a bit. It might allow us to see a bit easier, so I can get some isopropyl alcohol and a cotton swab and just clean this area up a bit. You can see there's a few peaks on some of these. Some might be nearly connected as well. So get the whole wick on there. Okay, that's good. So we try and line up. It's just what we do now, just a tiny bit of flux on the chip itself, not loads, but just a little bit. Maybe I'll a little bit better from underneath. So we can get this lined up. So I'm going to lower my airflow down again, just so it doesn't blow it off the board. We'll add a tiny bit of flux to the board. Knocked it out of place. Okay, let's get the flux on the board to begin with. So this flux is quite, it's gone a bit hard because it's so cold in here. So I'm going to start from quite far away so we don't blow it off. Hopefully melt that flux and get that flow underneath as well. And we're just going to keep circulating this air. Okay, we got too close. We knocked it. Just move this down because I think that's too high. Yeah, that's better. Okay, we'll lower the airflow down even more. Right together. You can see it move, that'll be fine to place. Yep. Too close again. Water. No, which is good. I'm trying to line this back up. Go a bit better. It's really difficult to not knock it. That's good. Also, I think we're just trying to fold out around it. Start to melt. So maybe that maybe is in place. I got a bit closer to blowing up now. I think it seems to move into place. See if I can swap hands and give this a bit of a nudge test. Okay, that feels like it's solid. So what we'll try and do is add a bit more flux and then maybe go for a reflow. So that'll get sucked over. So we'll increase our airflow a bit. Oh no. I think that was on there, but I think I just got a bit too overzealous with the airflow. So I might actually be able to just use this straight back on as it is. Because the solder balls they've changed too much. There was maybe one that was attached, but yeah, I think I just increased the airflow just a touch too much. We'll let it cool down and we'll have a look. So I think I saw the solder start to wet on some of the surrounding components. I don't think it's sat flat. I think if we look at it, I think it's probably sticking up a bit on one side, so we might need to just try again. Take a look. Yeah, I don't think they're sat down. You can see, yeah, that they're not making a connection. That's a shame. Okay, here it is. Again, we'll just have to try and lift this off. Yeah, I don't think that took anything off with it. That is evidence that it was not connected down. That just did be straight off. And I think it definitely will need reballing. Yeah, you can see there's a couple missing just from the top there. If you look at it this way, you can see they're all a bit uneven. So we might need to try and reball this. The first reballing I do as well, we'll see how it goes. I think I have a stencil for this. If anything, that looks very cool. Just try and make sure that's clamped in still. Okay, that would fit there. Evidently way too much here. How do people get this to stay? Dare I say it, that's... Ah, no, is there a few missing on the end? That almost went... Ah, there's just a few missing. Okay. I think that's the way to do it then. That's not gone too badly. I think if we lift this up, we'll possibly see just the top end there. Ignore that hair, you can just see there's a handful just missing. Well, it didn't go too badly. Okay, we'll give it. We'll run it again. So we just need to get the solder wick on this, clean it up. Okay, so clean. There's a lot of flux inside the solder wick. Get some good pressure down. Good. Face on. That's good. Try to get that pressure. Come on. Is that done? That's good. Some are a bit smaller than others, but I think it'll be alright. Okay, we'll just give it a reflow. I know, we're missing one. Ha! I think we're missing one. I wonder if we'll be able to realign the stencil now that it's on there. And maybe we'll be able to get that missing one in. No, we ruined it. It slipped. Okay, I'm not sure if where I've slipped I've accidentally actually removed the pads or not, so we'll try and add some solder to it. Okay, I have a feeling that those pads have come off. Okay, here we are back again with a new chip. So I've just got a new one here, which as you can see is still pre-balled. So we're just going to add a little bit of flux to the board and then try and get this down. Hopefully we don't knock this one off. Okay, so there's some resistance there, so that might be attached. Let's have a look. I don't know if that's in place, is it? Come on, let's go. Look at that. Perfect. Nice. Okay, that looks great. Let's try and get this on the board then. Yeah, that looks quite good. I think that might be on. It feels solid to nudge, so I think we might just try and give this a clean up and give it a test. Well, looks pretty good that side. Hard to tell on that side. Looks pretty good there. Okay, we'll get this in a housing and give it a test then. Okay, so we're under the thermal cam now, and if we can see, so that original chip is getting hot, but the BGA isn't anymore. Now that could be one of two things. It could be that it's no longer attached at all, or it could be that that internal short is now fixed. So I think maybe we put this in a housing and give it a test. Okay, so I put it together enough to test it and plug it in. If you remember, the old board wasn't charging. Obviously now it's not showing that heat spot, so that might be because the short has gone, or it might not be working. So there's only one way to do this, and that is to slide it into a switch and see if it works. No. Nope. I think it's fixed. Ah well, it was worth a go. And some good practice, so unfortunately this one still is not fixed, but I enjoyed doing it. So we'll see you on the next one, where hopefully we will succeed. Until then, have a nice day.